This is Joe Kenderson. I'm doing a review of the REI Traverse 32. It's a Daypack by REI. I've used this to do some hiking here in the Pacific Northwest in Oregon on the Belknap Crater. I've got a couple videos posted up on my YouTube channel, Joe Kenderson Hiking the PCT. I'm a through hiker. I hiked all of Washington, the majority of Oregon, and it was 2 years ago when we had all the fires, and I got put off because of the fires when they closed down the national forests. But that's just a little bit of background of my hiking experience. So I do have some experience with hiking and using packs. My first impressions of this pack are really good. It's got a lot of attachment points. The strap downs can be moved. I've seen videos of this bag, and nobody's shown this feature of this bag. But there's these loops in the bag, and then you can unhook your strapping and actually undo it and move it to another loop. So this can be moved out from one loop up to another loop and then put back through and then restrapped, which is really nice. It gives you the flexibility to compress and put stuff on the side of your pack. For this particular, I was using it for a day pack. Like this, what they really want to see you use it for is kind of a day pack. And that's what they advertise it as. I mean, it's a 32-liter pack. I mean, I kitted it out for an overnight in the Pacific Northwest. And so what you can see behind me over here, to the side of me over here, is my kit that actually all fits in here. There's some stuff, obviously, I've done, what my loadouts look like, what they looked like on the PCT when I first started the hike, and of course, by the end of it, it looked a lot different. Back to the pack. Got a nice outside pocket here with some venting on the sides, nylon venting on the sides. I've got my bladder in there. I've got a 2-liter bladder in there. It's got outlets for the bladder at the top, both left and right, and then the Brain. The Brain is not detachable, which is, I don't know. Some people would prefer that the Brain is detachable. It seems to me like such a small thing to put clips on here to make it so you could take the Brain off the pack, but REI chose not to. It's not a huge deal on a small pack. I mean, the weight savings or whatever you're looking for is not really where you're going to be doing it on a pack like this. The strapping worked really well. Good adjustments. I didn't use the chest strap. I very rarely ever use the chest strap when I'm hiking. I find that the shift of the weight doesn't really bother me that much. Even when I was doing 20 miles a day, on my Osprey pack, I never used the chest strap. Anyways, some people said that these pop off easy. Again, to me, that's not a concern. That doesn't bother me. And because I don't use the chest strapping, I really didn't experience that. Obviously, per most packs, you can run your hydration bladder hose down through here out of the top of the pack. You've got a Brain on the pack. I have my rain jacket up in there, just a little like washcloth up in there. And when I hike, I put my keys up in there, stuff like that. Pockets, these were really nice. Snacks. When I hiked Belknap Crater, I had, 5 or 6 Snickers in one side, and then I had my camera equipment, which is a tripod and a small holder for my iPhone, which I'm using right now for this video, in the other side over here, and it's a flexi, twisty bend tripod, so I can wrap it around my trekking poles and do videos like that with it as well. I usually keep that kind of stuff over in here, but you could simply just use it for other things like snacks and whatnot. More about the pack. I'm going to stand up here to get out of the way. All right. So as I said, I've already got the bladder in here. My loadout for this was going to be, it was good. I always planned that I could possibly do an overnight, and I planned on kind of doing an overnight. So I have a netting, a hammock system with a net for bugs, a bug net. It doesn't have a cover though. It doesn't have any kind of a rain fly for it. What I do for that is I just do, you know, a cheap 7mm plastic drop cloth. And if it does start to rain or start to have problems and I need to cover up my hammock, I can use that to kind of go over top of the hammock. Butt pad. I'll show you how this kind of goes in. So the first thing that would go in is obviously my hammock and down to the bottom. No problem with that. All right. And now it should freestand pretty good for me. The next thing is my seating pad. This is the little comforts that make the difference when you're hiking. When you go to somewhere, get to somewhere, you want to sit, have a snack, whatever, whipping this out and being able to sit on something comfortable is huge. So I put that in the outer pocket of the pack where I can get at it easily. Then I've got my water system here, my old 2-liter CNOC bottle, and I use that on the trail. This thing has been great. I know this is about the bag, but this is some other stuff, kit stuff that you might not know about. These CNOC bladders are great for water. I swap out my the plasticky Sawyer stuff with the CNOC. So I've got that. I've got a modified Coca-Cola cap. I'll let you see this holes. So this is like you hook that to this full of water and you can use it to wash your hands, stuff like that. Real convenient and no weight penalty. Sawyer, everybody knows about the Sawyers. A little bit of hand sanitizer, just in case you get a scrape, cut, whatever. And then that all goes into a bag, kept in one place, and kept in the back of the pack, where I can get at it to do my water when I do rewatering. All right. And then we get down into the pack. I can put my puffy. This is Mountain Hardwear, my Mountain Hardwear puffy. It still is getting cold here. So that goes down to the bottom of the pack as well. Just throw my drop cloth in there on top of that. And then, cook system. Again, you wouldn't necessarily be carrying these things in a day pack. You know what I mean? You'd be carrying whatever for a day's hike. But I want to show that this is a good overnight solution pack for an overnight. All right. So I've got my sleep system, almost my sleep system in there. My hammock, my puffy, my drop cloth, cook system, my sleep system. I'll show you in a second. We'll just say, for sake of example, a little bit of food that goes in there as well. And then, let me see if I can get this set here. All right, so that's sitting right there. As far as my sleep system goes, I've got my UGQ, my underground quilt right here. Anybody who knows about these underground quilts, that's the toe box. It can be pulled closed for a toe box. Not really needing this time of the year. It's July, end of July, getting into August. The idea of using an under quilt on a hammock system is probably not. I wouldn't need it. So this is the only thing I'm doing. This just stuffs into the bag. So I'm going to set you up here for a second, and we'll just stuff that into the bag real quick. You see how big these quilts are when they puff out, and I've let this has been on my hotel bed for a while, so it's still puffy, pretty puffy, but it can actually be compressed down pretty good into the pack, I can just keep on shoving it and it'll keep going because the air is coming out of it. So that's in there. I still got quite a bit of room in the top of the pack. I'm not doing a full base layer, but a good merino wool top base layer can make the difference of comfort and or misery. That can just go in there. Clothes that I'm wearing, obviously, shirt, socks. I use sock liners, so let me kind of go over that real quick. Fox River sock liners, real good. I use these on my Pacific Crest Trail hike. no blisters. Obviously the go-to, Vermont, you know, the socks. So they're really, really nice socks. I generally carry an extra pair of socks, so we'll put those in there, into the pack. All right, and then this is what I'm wearing right there. So that's, you know, a fishing shirt, long sleeve, white fishing shirt for sun protection, zip off Columbia pants, and then my ex aficionado underwear, which are real comfortable. I've got a rag and my hiking gloves right there, and I clip them onto, you know, to hang off the pack. And of course, my sun hat. I've got my little Swiss Army knife, and that can go into one of the front pouch pockets. I'll put that right over here into the pouch pocket. And I like to, a lot of people don't, but I like to carry a camp knife. And then let's see, over here, obviously my Merrells. I wear Merrells. I'm glad I did, because Belknap Crater was, it's all lava field. So it chews up shoes. And so yeah, so I've got all this. I'll put you back down over here. All that stuff's in my pack. I still got a lot of room in the top of this thing. I could put more stuff in here and close that up and wrap up the thing down in here and close it up. So like I said, I was actually really impressed with the idea that, you know, you have, you know, a pole strap right here on the side, and a loop down here. You got another loop here, and you could reposition these. I was worried that I couldn't, if I wanted to, I couldn't. I didn't have any place to strap possibly a. If I wanted to use my tent system instead of that, the hammock. But I now realize that with these strappings here, I've got one on each side. I've got a strap here with a buckle, and I've got another buckle up here, and then I've got, you know, the same thing, you know, a couple straps over here. You can move one of these straps, locate it off of these loops on each side, and then strap it up to here and use it as a compression to do, if you wanted to do a tent on the bottom, which is really good. I mean, my UL2, my Copper Spur UL2, I could strap that to the bottom if I wanted to use a tent for a weekend, or if I just wanted to use the footprint for a weekend. Hell, the footprint and poles could go into the back here. For the cost of this pack and what it can do, I think it's a great weekend pack. I think you'd really like the features of it. The biggest, it's going to sound silly, but my biggest feature of this pack that I liked was the ability to put my, I'll show you. So this is huge. This is huge when you're hiking, for me. For me, maybe not for you, but for me. If I'm walking down the path, the trail, I don't want to have to take my pack off to get my hydration. So if I'm not using my hydration, or I'm augmenting it with a smart water bottle with maybe liquid IV in it or something like that, then I'm kind of water alternating back and forth during the day. These pockets for your hydration are slanted. So that means when I'm walking, I can reach behind me and I can pull my hydration out, drink it, and slip it back into that pocket and not have to be crab arming trying to get my hydration in and out of those two side pockets. This made the difference between whether I got this pack or I got the Osprey pack of about the same size, because I use a 65 liter Atmos for my major hiking. That's what I used on the trail. But I just wanted something. I'm living in Arkansas, and I've got a lot of really great weekend trails to do in Arkansas, in Northwest Arkansas. And I wanted to be able to have a pack that I could, a go-to pack that I could leave like it's set up right now. I can just leave it that way, grab it, go, and be, you know, okay if I'm like, wow, I hiked in further than I expected and I just want to spend the night, maybe hike a little farther and spend the night. I've got my gear to do that. And you go much smaller and it's tougher to do that with. So as an all-around weekend day, it's a little big for a day pack, I think, personally. I mean, what are you really going to carry in a day pack? You could probably just get yourself a cheap backpack out of, Walmart or something like that for a day pack. But if you want a good go-to, you can put enough stuff in there to sleep out on a weekend. This is a great pack. And again, very similar to Osprey, REI's, warranties are great. So I'm assuming that if I have any problems with this pack, if anything starts to pull out or not function well, I'm going to be able to get it taken care of. The other nice feature, and I'm not going into the features, a lot of the features of this pack, because if you look at some of the other videos, they go into the features of the pack, okay? But I know that I didn't see how these attachments were on other videos. And the idea that this comes right apart and can be moved, and it can be even moved to the bottom to give you looping in the bottom, that's, I know for a lot of people, you're hooking up your sleep system maybe down there, maybe you're hooking up a tent down there, you want to put a bedroll down there. You don't want to try to stuff those down the sides with the possibility that they slide out on the trail, and you don't know that. If you don't see it, you don't feel it slip out of there, you're down the trail. Nobody likes to backtrack to try to find stuff. That's just terrible. So you loop it in the bottom, and that's a little bit better. That's the way I like to do it. I mean, other people, do what you want to do. I wanted to just do and it ended up not being quick because I did a loadout, but it's just a demonstration of a loadout that you can put into this pack to get you out there for a weekend comfortably, And I still had room in the top for food, so I could do a couple days worth of food. I mean, certainly you're not going to do, like I was doing on the trail, 7 days, 10 days worth of food on a loadout. That's not what this is for. But certainly, 1 to 2 days, easily you can do your food and your loadout. And obviously, if I wasn't going to use the hammock that I have in here, I would use my UL2, and I could strap that to the bottom, or I can slide it down. There's room in here to stick my UL2 in there, but it does take the whole side of the pack. You have your zipper here, so if I wanted to go in this way to get stuff, I can do that without going through the top. If I were them, I would have rather had a compartment zipper in the bottom that I could get to the bottom of the pack, maybe for like a sleep system or something like that. But again, it's designed to be a backpack for day packing. That's what it's advertised as. Just wanted to show you that there are other options that you can use it for. I might have to edit this video a little bit for length. I'm running on to almost 17 minutes. But I just wanted to go through. It's a good pack. I like the color. I almost got it in their other color. I think it's the blue, but I like the color of it. The padding is really nice. Belknap Crater was a 8 mile out and back on lava fields. And although it wasn't extremely hot, it was in the 80s, 70s and 80s. But there was a really good breeze, and I could definitely feel the air movement back along my back, and my small of my back didn't get terribly sweaty. I mean, you're going to sweat some, but it seemed to keep it pretty good. But you can see exactly what I'm talking about with the being able to just get your water or your hydration in and out of these side pockets are just a heck of a lot easier. They've got a snap down here that you can make them a little bit wider if you need to, and you got them on both sides. So I had my smart water actually over here on my right side because I'm right-handed, and I actually had a small, just a small regular little plastic water bottle, not even just a plastic water, standard size. I will say one thing. I was worried, and you may be too, a full 1 liter smart bottle poking me in the back as I was walking, because you can see the angle. It almost appears as though that would poke you in the back. It doesn't. It doesn't. It works good. It works good. It doesn't poke me in the back, and it was accessible. That really kind of addresses all the questions I had about this pack, looking at all the other videos. There's a lot of videos. There's videos out here of this pack. But even watching those videos, I had questions. So I think I've answered most of those questions. If you have any questions about this pack, post them. Post them to the bottom of the page. I don't have subscribers. I don't have patrons or anything like that. I don't get paid. This is just me passing on to you my impressions of this pack. what I intend to use it for, which is more overnights, small weekends, stuff like that. And, and maybe the occasional, day hike as well. But for me, day hike is hydration, snacks, and that's about it. I don't understand a large pack necessarily for a day hike, unless you're doing some technical climbing or something like that. You have to have ropes or something. I don't understand why you need that much equipment. But again, I used to be one of those guys that put everything in their pack until I did a through hike or did a good chunk of a through hike and realized I don't need any of that stuff. Anyways, Joe Kenderson. My channel, Joe Kenderson Hiking the PCT, but this is just a Joe Kenderson doing a bag review. Thanks for watching. I know this carried on a little bit longer. Thanks.